Hey guys, May here, and today I'm going to be doing a little updated how I'm collecting K-pop albums video. Every time I come home and I see my entire collection, I think about how messy it's gotten in a few places. So I really want to start cleaning it up, especially in May when I actually am here full time and I'm going to be with all of my albums all the time, which is going to be so strange. I'm not used to doing that at all because I didn't seriously start collecting until... Well, I mean, I've been seriously collecting for a while, but I'm so used to like leaving and going away for a couple of months and then coming back to my collection. So it'll be great because I'm actually going to regularly be able to like clean my shelves and all these things because I feel like I do it once every 6 months, or I used to before I was like gone for a year. Obviously I like wiped everything down before I put my albums back on shelves, but I made up some rules the other night instead of doing other things of how I want to collect all the groups that I collect, and I just thought that I would put it in video form for anybody who might like get confused. And I have it by like placement on my top boy group and top girl group list, so I don't believe my top boy group list is that updated anymore. It's pretty updated. The biggest change has been Monsta X and like BTS. Those are the biggest changes that have happened, and like iKON and EXO not really being one of my top groups anymore. But I'm not going to do another one until Infinite comes back, which is in May supposedly, and the new boy group from Woollim Entertainment debuts. I'm not going to make a new list until then. So these are by like placement, so if anything ever changes, then my rule for that is to just adapt. So we'll start with the boy groups because that's how I did this. For Infinite and Super Junior, obviously any and all versions of Korean stuff, Japanese stuff, ELF versions. Infinite doesn't have In Spirit Japan versions, but if they ever did that, I collect everything for Infinite and Super Junior. They are my top groups, and to be honest, when I buy their stuff and I have to organize their stuff, like I've been stressed lately because I'll post a picture. My jewel cases, makes me so sad that I have to stack them now. It just makes it like literally breaks my heart. But that's what my jewel case shelf looks like, and Infinite's gonna have to start stacking too because I think there's room for one more jewel case down there, which will be my B&Normal edition. That's a thing that's making me sad lately about that. But obviously we'll continue to collect any and all of their stuff. It's been pretty easy lately. Infinite comes back once every 13 months and they release like a Japanese thing every once in a while, but they've been pretty slow for the past couple of years due to world tours and injuries and all that fun stuff. So, and Super Junior has been slow for the past couple of years because of enlistments, the Korean military. No, just kidding. It's fine that they have to go. I just miss them. I'm gonna go down to 2 through 7. So currently 2 through 7 on my boy groups list is BTS, VIX, B.A.P /Monsta X, SHINee, Cross Jeans /Madtown, and 17. So those are my 2 through 7 groups. We'll collect any and all versions of Korean album, maybe one version of Japanese stuff if there's member version. And then I made a couple of notes on this. Cross Jean is an exception because their stuff is literally nothing because they have like 3 Korean releases. I bought all 6 member CD plates of their 11-piece Japanese single just because they don't have that much stuff and I wanted to expand my discography. Another exception to this is who knows what's happening to Madtown. I don't know what's happening to Madtown lately. Oh, I miss them. I'm nervous. And then 8 through 14 is my next set of groups. Most of these groups don't release stuff regularly anyways. Buy one version when they release things. And I don't know why I said that because looking at my 8 through 14 is GOT7, Attention, Pentagon, New East /VICTON, which I guess VICTON is the only new like group I've added on here. BTD, Gia, and UKISS. Gia is disbanded. New East doesn't really release things that much. I am missing their 3rd mini album. I decided that I might just try to get it just so I can have all of the mini albums. No, maybe it's their 4th mini album. I have their 3rd mini album. GOT7 releases things pretty regularly, but I don't do Japanese stuff for GOT7 already. Attention, I'm going to go down to buying just one version of Attention things if they have multiple versions, but they've been doing one version for the past couple of album releases, so yeah. Pentagon only ever releases one version, New East only ever releases one version, VICTON only releases one version, B2B usually only releases one version, And then UKISS has very few comebacks. They're few and far between these days, and Gia, like I said, is disbanded, but I might try to expand my Gia collection. And that's 8 through 14, and then 15 through 19, if you love it and you have extra money, go for it. That's my rule for that. So 15 through 19 right now is TVXQ, JYJ, Highlight, Beast. I had to change their name on this. I've been calling Beast for so long now that it's going to take me forever to get used to calling them Highlight, so just bear with me for that. Block B, Boyfriend, 2 p.m. And then 20 through 24, or 20 through the end, is Teen Top, B1A4, iKON, EXO, and Big Bang. And I wrote for that. You better have a good reason for buying this group's album, because there's so many other groups above them that I like a lot more that I would rather be spending my money on. And I do have albums from almost all of these groups. I don't own any, well, I don't own any EXO anymore. I still physically have some of my EXO albums, so go check out my album sale if you're interested. But I don't own anything from Teen Top. But I own things from the rest of those groups. No, I don't own my iKON thing anymore. But I do have my Win Mix and Match DVDs, so I guess that counts. But I don't really own things from these groups anyways, or when I did own things from these groups, I was a lot bigger fan. Yeah, so that's it for boys. For girls, I'm going to APINK and After School, any and all versions of Korean stuff. For After School Japanese stuff, any and all versions. I won't do all of the Mumo versions. Mumo just Reina. Any Reina CD plates that exist out there, which I think I own 3 of the 4 of them now, which is pretty exciting. And then APINK Japanese stuff, I buy Balmy and Eunji normal CD plates and Balmy like special things. Like I want to get her Christmas version, and then I have her version A from something. And I have to buy their new Japanese single, their 7th one. I've also started stacking APINK CD plates recently because they have so many. 2 through 4/5. The reason it's 4/5 is let me tell you. So 2 is AOA, Lovelyz, Red Velvet. 5 is GFRIEND. The reason I do /5 is because GFRIEND's new album, the title track is my least favorite that they've ever released. I don't think I've talked about that anywhere, but it's my least favorite title track they've ever released. I still like it, but I don't like it enough to buy 2 versions of their album, so I've decided to just buy one of the 2 versions. So that's why I say /5, because will I go back to buying multiple copies of GFRIEND things? Right now, I didn't buy both copies of their first full-length album either, so I guess I'm not going to count GFRIEND for this. So this is just AOA, Lovelyz, and Red Velvet. So for this, any and all copies of Korean things, and I guess for Japanese things, these groups I don't do, well, AOA I do Minna CD plates, so I guess if Lovelyz and Red Velvet ever do CD plates. Red Velvet recently released a 5 version album with one of the 5 members like on the rookie cover, and I only bought Wendy's for that, and so I think that's also going to be a rule, is if there's member versions, I'm just going to buy my bias, because yeah. So I guess 5 through 10 is 1 copy of each release. So 5, like I said, is GFRIEND. 6 is Sistar. Sistar, sometimes I don't get to buying their albums just because I'm not a huge fan of their non-titles most of the time, to be honest. So I feel like Sistar might end up dropping on my list, but I love their title tracks like a lot. And then 7 is 9 Muses, 8 is Oh My Girl, 9 is Gugudan, and 10 is Twice. Yeah, 1 copy of each release. Twice, they've released thousands of different versions of their albums, and I only buy 1. Oh My Girl, I just bought their repack for their first full-length album, but I do want to get their first 2 mini albums, and their comeback album, if I can. And then Gugudan only released 1 version of things. Twice released multiple versions, but I've only been buying 1 for the past ever since they started doing multiple versions. 11 through 20, only if you love it. So I am a little stricter with the bottom half of the girl groups, just because I obviously am more boy group biased, but I do like girl groups a lot. So that's why I have rules for After School and APINK, and I do buy quite a few girl group albums, but when it comes down to it, I buy a lot more boy group albums. For new groups, my rule is unless they're from a trash company, which is Woollim, Pledis, Jellyfish. Not that they're a terrible company, but that I'm completely trash, and I support most of their groups, if not all of their groups. Just follow 1 copy of an album and then follow the rules wherever you end up ranking them. So I never end up ranking a group until after their album comes out. So if I decide to pre-order an album, like, I guess the most recent group from this is Pristin, who's gonna debut under Pledis, and I am planning on buying that album, but if they end up being lower and then the next album they release like multiple versions, then I won't be buying multiple versions of their album, I'll just buy one version. 17, I'm also kind of leaning towards maybe just buying one version of their stuff, but I haven't been able to stop myself with that yet, so we'll keep you updated on that. Their albums have gotten really bulky lately and it's kind of annoying me, so maybe their next album will be like Boys B. Can that, yeah. And then, like, obviously for an example of me buying all the boy group things is I bought Monsta X and B.A.P, both of my fourth favorite boy groups, just have either released albums recently or they are about to release an album. I'm in love with the Rose album. I actually, like, am so emotional over this entire comeback, and I wish that I could have reacted to Wake Me Up, because wow, that was a incredible comeback. But I'm going to buy both versions of Rose, and then I pre-ordered all 3 versions of the Clan, the final chapter, because I'm obsessed with this concept already, and I own all the other versions for everything else Monsta X, and I'll finally have an even amount of Monsta X albums, because every album they've released since debut, minus their debut album, has a pair, comes in 2 versions, but this comes in 3 versions, so finally it'll feel like Trespass has like a buddy kind of thing. Things I get excited about. And yeah, B.A.P, I'm gonna keep buying. B.A.P I also do, like, I just buy Jungkook's version when I buy like member versions for them. BTS, they're ranked higher than those two. I did end up buying 2 versions of Wings, and then both versions of You Never Walk Alone, which aren't currently with me, they're at school. But yeah, and then SHINee, I just buy member versions too. So, you know, like, if Crush Gene ever released member versions in Korea, I would just buy that, but they probably won't ever do that. That's kind of my new rules. I do most of these things already, but now I have a video saying that I do all of these things. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Obviously, if you want to see what albums I have coming, go ahead and look in the description box down below. This is just to keep me a little more organized and to keep me a little more grounded, because sometimes I do go crazy and buy everything. Hopefully this keeps me a little more grounded, and maybe with a little more money in my pocket. I'm not sure if it'll do that, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see what albums I have coming, go ahead and look in the description box down below, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!